Hello and welcome everyone to the Onward VR Master League. I'm your host, Monorchid, and I'm joined today by my co-caster, Snooper.
What's up?
Together we're excited to be bringing you this Cataclysm versus WCO matchup, Season 10, Week 7. As always, the VR Master League is brought to you by the good folks over at VR Cover, Pro2, Rebuff Reality, Fixed Gaming, Cyber Shoes, B Haptics, as well as you guys. Let's jump right into the picks and bans today. Snoop, what do we have for map 1?
Well, map 1 is going to be Subway, a nice little tight map that I think our newer teams here really like to play. The bans are actually Cataclysm's banning Bazaar, WCO is banning Cargo, and those are actually some really interesting bans considering they're one of the more popular maps to play. Cargo's a nice, really small one, really tight one that I think a lot of teams are really well versed at. And Bazaar is another one that's similar, really tight, has those nice big lanes in the middle, but for the most part, it's a popular map. People like to play it. There's house-to-house fighting, essentially. So very interesting bans. I don't exactly know why they would ban them over something like Downfall or even Subway, the map we're starting on now, but it's definitely an interesting start.
Right, yeah. The Cargo, like, you're either really good at it, or maybe your team really isn't. And so when those certain teams that you go up against and you know that they're really good at it, it's often a good ban. I kind of feel the same way about Subway, or sorry, not Subway, but Suburbia. Because a lot of these teams really like it, they know it, but some teams are just really good at it and spent a lot of time practicing it. So seeing those kind of bans is something that I'm not,
you're not too worried about.
Yeah, I'm just like, yeah, I could see that happening.
Yeah, I mean, if one team is definitely weaker at a map, you certainly should ban it. Cargo, I know a few teams, they really don't like it just because it's so small and so tight, and you can get rushed up on real quick. If you're not ready for that, then okay, I understand why the ban goes out. But as I said, I still think Bazaar is one of those maps that everyone's got a little bit of a shine to. But each team can ban whatever they want, and those are our bans, so we're not going to see those maps. We're still waiting for our teams to enter and get ready for the lobby. It looks like we're waiting for one more, so it should be hopefully starting soon.
Hopefully, that's for sure. I'm excited to see this map. You know I like it. And Bazaar's a lot of fun too. Honestly, I think Bazaar is one of the more interesting ones to watch from a caster's perspective. But I see how they could ban that one as well. It takes a lot of time, and in my opinion, to get used to that map, to know where to cross. There's definitely some deadly crosses on that map, and also the callouts. For somebody who has a fish brain memory like me, those callouts can be really difficult depending on how your team likes to do it. Yeah, one more player before we get started here.
I think it's time for a nice little intermission.
Yeah, let's just jump right into that. We should be back up soon, so stick around. See you in a minute. Welcome back, everybody. We are just getting back in here. We got our 5th member from WCO, and the match should be starting any time now.
Yeah, we got 5 people in. There was a little bit of a technical issue on WCO part, but I think we're going into the first round.
Yes, I'm excited here.
I can hear it in your voice.
You don't even know, like, it's hard for me to just really convey how much I love this objective. It's just so much fun. North Stair objective, a great one to start this match off here, as it can be quite the explosive one. We even got some drums over here on Marsoc, ready for some nice covering fire. Just maybe some pre-fire around the corners here in the north alley. Oh, this is gonna be good.
Visceral's coming up. He's going to go up the north alley. Stopping at the top of the stairs with a grenade in his hand.
Look at this defense.
I know, it's super spread out. That's why I like new teams. You don't see the meta defenses that you see almost every time. You just see some really interesting things that might or might not work. And honestly, I think older teams or veteran teams can watch some of this to get some good strats out. And here comes Scrib and Heclac coming around the north stairs.
This is interesting. They're also breaching the south stairs at the same time. They're being really careful about going prone and going down, and the person in the south stairs isn't quite watching their direction at this time here. So we're probably going to see a simultaneous breach here between these two assault teams. Pretty tactical.
Yeah, I mean, crawling down the south stairs, not my cup of tea. I usually like to run down there as fast as possible with my gun as far up as I can while still moving fast. Definitely a bit more faster than what we're seeing over in the south. But if it works, it works.
Graphics here didn't quite see them coming down the stairs, and Ricky Ticky Sticks and Coach Kodith have made it down without being seen. Shots ring out. Ricky takes out Graph. Identity Crisis takes out Scrib at the same exact time here. The south has been breached, and now they're going to have to deal with everyone on the south platform. Let's see how the north is doing right now.
Heclac crawling down the stairs at prone with just a leg and an arm showing. Very interesting maneuver.
Definitely a little bit of you got to be careful about being next to the wall there. He takes out Lord Visceral and then comes down, takes out Identity Crisis as well. Now the north is open for some aggression here. Ibar is going to have to be really careful about defending from both angles here as Ricky comes up behind and could take him out across the way before Rego can defend him. And now it looks like the north push has stalled just a tad here as they get a little bit cautious. Wait for the rest of the team.
Well, here comes Ibar. Yeah, he gets gunned down by Heclac as soon as he comes around the corner. Heclac still using the side of the stairs to try and obfuscate vision.
Yeah.
And it is a strategy. It's all down to Rigo, though, and honestly, I think he needs to rotate back to the objective.
Yeah, Rigo's definitely going to have to do something here, as if he lets them get there, they're going to get the cap off.
It looks like the cap is going to happen. Rigo has no sense of coming back. I think he thinks he can guard it from there, but Ricky Sticks is shooting at his rear. And Rigo now is focused on the wrong direction. And there goes the cap.
And less like that, Cataclysm takes this round with a cap.
Yeah, my advice to any new team that once you get down to that last player, you got to get back to your objective. There's nothing else that matters. Even your life doesn't matter at that point. Sure, be a little tactical getting back there, but if you're not defending the objective, you're giving them 2 points, which is what we saw right there.
Definitely need a little bit more tablet awareness there. Be aware that this is a very dangerous objective that you really have to worry about. Once you're the last one up in the south, you really just got to crash in, hope that they don't shoot you in the back, or depending on the timing, hopefully they do shoot you. That way you don't get capped on once that north push gets taken out, or north defense, I'm just trying to say.
Now we're jumping into round 2 immediately. Or was that a false start? No, it wasn't a false start. Cataclysm's going to hold the same defensive line, and I'm definitely seeing some good LMG action. No real loadout, I would say, errors I don't see any sniper rifles. I don't see any semi-autos, which is good. I'm not a fan of semi-autos in these close-range maps, and the more LMGs you bring, the better, I think.
For this objective, I definitely say the more Daka Daka you got, the better.
Yeah.
I definitely I'm just not a fan of the semi-autos in general, unless it's like a long-range map. Ricky Ticky Sticks here, pushing around the corner here. Rego is ready for him. Ooh, almost is taken out, gets wounded here. His gun wasn't loaded. Pre-fire starts, he's coming around this corner, cutting the pie as it were, but Rego was ready and takes him out before his gun can swing all the way around there.
Yeah, he's just facing a little bit too far out from that corner, which honestly, I think he should have held the trash can. He shouldn't have moved past that corner. Let Rego come to him. But it was a good-spirited try, that was for sure.
Coco just narrowly missing graphics here, I think. Let's just jump right down to his view here. It looks like the Coke can was barely covering graphics here as he was standing in the kind of train tracks entrance area. The rest of the team kind of pushing up a little bit slowly here, getting in position at all flanks here. North just holding, you know, making sure nobody flanks up and around to check him, maybe get another pick there. But it looks like the main brunt of this attack is going to be in the south.
Yeah, it's definitely a south attack. Ibar, Lord Visceral, Graphics. Rigo's a little bit out. I think he's going to try and follow Ibar around, but he's definitely be a little slower about it. And that's something newer teams need to be aware of. You guys need to stay together. If you fight one-on-one or if you sort of trickle in, you're just lemmings. You're going to be I mean, at this point, Cataclysm's down one member. But with the way WCO is attacking, it's essentially a 1v4. It's going to be a 1v4, 1v4, 1v4. And that's never the way you want to engage a whole team. You always want to come in and force. Whether you have 2 members left, attack together. Get those refrags. Get those maneuvers.
Right, and fortunately they have some time to get this attack running smoothly. Ibar and Visceral online with each other here. Ibar coming around the corner, Visceral taking out Coco at the trash can next to the objective area. And now Coach Coda definitely knows Ibar is really nearby as he pre-fired that corner and ran in there hot and heavy. And really, it's really important that Coach Kodith holds this south line, at least for a little bit, giving the rest of his team a chance to respond and provide support.
Well, I don't think they know Kodith is there, so he's definitely going to be able to get one surprise attack. Of course, what's the refrag going to be? That's always the question. But if he can get 1 or 2 of them in the first initial ambush, that's gold. He sold his life very dearly there. And he's not dead yet, mind you.
I think Ibar does actually possibly know. It kind of looked like he was aiming his hand like, hey,
oh, he knows.
He's over there. He knows. Coach Kodith definitely tucked into the corner here. The barrel of his gun is showing, so Ibar definitely knows that his intuition was correct here. Coach poking out just a bit, but at the same time as Ibar pulled back, Rego takes out Coach Kodith from behind. What a sneaky maneuver. He even tricked me.
Behind him.
He even tricked me.
I forgot that entrance was there, to be honest. I haven't gone back there in forever.
I thought they closed it off, actually, but it's so dark. Meanwhile, Ibar is breaching the objective. Scrib is taken out as he looks out to see what's happening. Heclac now has to defend this objective. Nice shot onto Ibar, but now he's going to have to deal with 2 members on opposite sides here. Definitely coming together now. The grenades are a little bit off.
Heclac only has to hold for the next minute and 10 seconds, so that's doable in my opinion. Granted, he's facing 4 people. Ooh, that was an interesting move on Heclac's part.
Oh man, I thought he went around that corner there. WCO takes the round. Interesting attack. It was a little disjointed, like you said early on there, but I think that they really waited for each other and then moved in together, which really worked out for him. Nice intuition from Ibar, probably hearing Coach Kodith in that little hallway there and then motioning for his friendly to go around the back. That was really beautiful move there, and I didn't even see that he was actually going behind there.
It was definitely an interesting push. I thought they were going to sort of, as I said, lemming in, do 1-on-4 attacks. But no, it seemed like they were doing recon and then slowly let the rest of the team move up. And I think that's something some of the older teams, the veteran teams, don't do anymore. Usually they just have their plans split up in groups and attack as a squad. And that might have actually been a recon play. They sent 1 or 2 players down first, which is what we saw. and then slowly their team moved in. But they did it within the allotted time. They didn't wait to the last minute. So bravo, that was a great attack on WCO's part.
Yeah, and I thought it was really interesting as well as they sent one down North Alley, but he wasn't really an attacker. He was just a defender. He was trying to get maybe a lucky pick there, you know, if anyone tries to push out, which they did, and he got that pick. And I guess their game plan was, hey, we're going to attack on the south, and once we get that secure, you're going to move up and come into the south and assist this push, and they did. So you can kind of see the kind of thought process they had. And it's really cool that you have those different kind of plays that you're not forced to just attack in one direction. You can do it any different way that your team, you know, chooses the best. So I really love seeing those different kind of plays.
Well, here we are coming into round 2 with a new objective in the middle of the mid-level now. Definitely a much more interesting objective considering it's more wide open, but there's also a lot of places that attackers and defenders can hide in this mid-level. So it becomes a little bit more of a skirmish throughout this whole zone to try and get that objective.
I like to think of this objective as the deadly ambush objective, because if you're going to be on the platform, there's all these different little hallways that you can go down, you know, where the trains go. You have the tunnels that everyone, you know, ends up putting a few in usually. And there's just a lot of deadly ambushes that you really have to worry about when you're, you know, attacking. You're going to have to push slowly. You're going to have to check. And if you don't, you're usually going to get shot in the back.
Well, it looks like a 5-man push through the tunnels, and they're going to come up and fight Identity Crisis with Coach Kodith and Scrib and the rest of Cataclysm coming up the rear. And this is actually a good way to push. They're spread out enough so that if they encounter C4 or a flash grenade or any kind of explosive that lands at their feet, it'll only take a part of their team. And here comes the action. Scrib
right
moving
on
up the stairs.
Yes. And with Scrib right now, is he going to check this corner? Here he comes out, puts his back towards Identity Crisis, takes him out. Coach Kodith, nice refry coming out of the stairs, hot and heavy, taking out Identity Crisis, and now this tunnel is in Marsock's hands.
That was a solid push-up, and then solid refrag. So that's a great move on Cataclysm's part. They lost a player, but they caught a player, and that's a nice trade there. You're still a 4-on-4, and it looks like there's a few WCO players that are a little, I would say, out of position. Graphics is definitely not going to encounter anyone until the attack happens on the objective, so definitely an interesting defensive lineup.
Yeah, I definitely think about having backup positions for when your position kind of not, you know, isn't relevant anymore. And we kind of can see that here as Lord Visceral pushes up, and it looks like he's going to try and get into this tunnel across from objective there. Very lucky that no one saw him run into there, but now he's in a really strong position, especially if Coach Kodith and Coco already cleared this side. They might not expect Lord Visceral to suddenly be there, and Rego being right next door can also run in once the shooting starts.
Well, if you look where Rigo is and Coach Kodith, it's definitely going to be a bit of a close range battle. Whoever gets who, I think Rigo will probably get the ambush first, and then Coco will get the refrag, but Lord Visceral ruins that attack by attacking head on and taking out... Oh, and Coach Kodith finds Lord Visceral and gets the refrag. That was a lot of kills in a short amount of time.
Coach Kodith as well, he's got that drum on his rifle, so he's not going to have to reload, and Rigo, you know, could be listening for that reload moment to you know, go in and attack there, but he's not going to get it with that 100-round drum.
He doesn't. He doesn't need to reload with a drum.
Rigo's going to be in trouble here. He actually talks to Coach, is like, oh man, someone's right next to me. And Heclack's coming from the stairs as well, and is going to have a great angle on Rigo here.
Graphics find Heclack before he gets the shot off. That's an interesting question. The Graphics is definitely looking that direction, and I think he's looking for Coach Kodith. But whether whoever's going to get the shots off first. Yep, there goes Rigo with
trying to pick who's gonna shoot first. I was like, is it gonna be this side? Is it gonna be that?
I was trying to follow the lasers, but like they kept switching targets.
All right, Heclack gets taken out by Graphics as he was coming up the stairs there. Couldn't quite pin his position before he was taken out there. He's going to be able to give callouts for Coach, who should know exactly where he is. Ibar in a great position to defend this objective from Coach if he gets a little too aggressive here on his approach, which he does, and Ibar gets that nice shot off on him, stopping that cap attempt, and it's all up to Ricky to really push up here get I-bar and quickly get on point in order to take out the last defender graphics on the other side. Nice shot.
Now it's a 1v1 with Hecklack giving information. I think Ricky is in a great place, but being very bold.
Oh no, no. He gets a little too far there, getting a little too excited. He is behind the Coke can. He's got his tablet out. We're seeing a cap right now. Graphics needs to push in. The cap is happening.
And there it is. Cataclysm takes the cap, winning the map, and that's the importance of getting back to the objective and making sure all areas are covered. Bravo, Cataclysm.
I just want to apologize, everybody. Left the scoreboard up. I'll commit seppuku after this cast here. Unfortunate. We did see a little of the action there. It was a really interesting round. You guys didn't get to see it that good, but we did. It was beautiful. I just want you to know.
Yeah, sorry for the overlay, guys. It happens. But we will make sure it doesn't happen again. But bravo for Cataclysm getting 2 caps. Definitely WCO needs to get their objective discipline down. That's what I see the most here is when they get down to 1 or 2 people, they sort of stick to their defensive areas, and that's not what you need to be doing. You need to get back to your objective. You need to make sure it's not getting capped on, because there could have been another round there if graphics just died. So that's the importance of making sure caps don't come out. It gives you more chances to win more rounds. And I know that sounds like basic stuff, but when you're in the middle of a battle, you're not thinking about that. And that needs to be your mindset. You need to get the other team, even if they're winning, you need to make sure they're not getting any extra points.
Yeah, there's just kind of this internal battle going on. It's, I'm in a good position. I kind of know someone's near me. My friendlies died, but do I push out and risk my life to get to objective, or do I stay where I am? I have, half of objective covered here, and I kind of feel like, if I run out, I'm just going to lose this match for my team. But really, that's the survivor, instinct talking to you there. You need to worry about the objective. That is the key point of Onward. If they get onto that objective on a pose there, and you're not running out there trying to stop it, then you're just going to get, 2 rounds taken off you, and you could just suddenly lose, the map like that would just happen there. So definitely that should be like the #1 thing is I'm not going to be capped on. That's not going to happen to me. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to run out in the open. I'm going to get shot. I'm going to, self-cap the objective once I'm the last man up and I'm in a really far off position there. And just always have that on your mind. You can always kind of plan for this. Like, hey, what happens when we have 2 defenders up? Where positions should we take? And what should I be thinking about as my friendlies are dying and how many enemies are left in the match? That's something that I think every team could, think about. It really just helps you get those positions down, so when you're in a match, you're ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, this is a points game. Kills and deaths don't really matter. We're not looking at total scores here. It's just the end result. If you don't want them to get more points, you prevent that cap any way possible, and dying is one of those ways. So yeah, they get 1 point, but that is 1 point less than they get with a cap. So I guess I'm just trying to hit home for any new players and anyone who's unfamiliar with the game that caps are really important to stop. And here we come into round 1 on Suburbia.
The age-old Suburbia.
Yeah, it's definitely a classic map that we've been playing for years now. And it definitely looks very beautiful now.
Yeah, I think they've done a good job really, making it beautiful again. As when 1.8 came out, it was a little rough on the edges here, but they've added a little bit of pizzazz back for SPC VR players, which I'm very happy to see.
Yes, we are definitely happy to see that. And the objective is over by this red car, and the pre-fire comes out, hits Coco a little bit.
That was really accurate pre-fire.
Yeah, that was very accurate pre-fire, but unfortunately it didn't get down Coco. So Rigo, I think, burned out half a mag if he's not working an LMG, but it doesn't sound like he has an LMG. I think he's got an
M16, I think.
Yeah, which honestly for pre-fire is not the best gun. You really want to get an LMG and just hammer that lane down.
Nice engagement over here in lane 1. Coach and Ibar trade both are still available for res, and now it's what's, you know, I like to think of as a res battle. Is who can res the other one first and then get the confirm off. It's always really tense there. I think it's pretty funny when they're talking. Yeah, it's funny when the dead people are talking to each other and just hoping that their allies get there first. The defense comes out on top, though, Scribe, with a nice revive, you know, confirming the kill for Coach Kodith, and then getting Graphics, who was coming around to get the res as well. So this whole push on the west side has been taken out. Heclac takes out Lord Visceral, and now
confirms
it's just
the kill.
brutal. So just 2 up for Marsoc.
Let's see if Identity Crisis gets bold and comes around the corner, because Heclac is in a very good position. It's basically a fortress. The only real weak spot is that little crack he keeps shooting through, and if anyone gets behind him, and that's a really solid place to be on defense.
Yeah, Heclac's position, I'm it's something I always worry about when I come around this side here, is it's very powerful, and the port's there in support. Very strong as well, and Coco, if he keeps his ears open, will be able to hear the movement of Identity Crisis. If he is a little bit too loud, any communication as well is going to be compromised there, and Coco can relay it to his team. Scribs takes out Rego over here in lane 2, and now Identity Crisis is going to have to get an Identity Crisis and start murdering everybody.
Well, he knows where Heclac is. So, and he looks like he's aiming that way, but the laser is not on point, and Heclac's definitely going to get the shot off.
Nice vision from Heclac there, getting eyes on him even through the fence there.
Solid defense there from WCO. We did not put the names up. I apologize. We are having a day.
Yeah, we really are.
Oh,
when
man.
One thing happens, a lot of things happen. It's just like when it rains, it pours, right?
Yep.
It's all good, though. All good. What an explosive first round. What do you think about that one?
Definitely a bit. I mean, they got a little bit lemony, or lemmingy, where they kept attacking one after another, and you really don't want to do that. You really want to attack in force, or just try and reposition yourself, and I just didn't see that.
Yeah, there was a lot of movement there. I think it was really unfortunate over in lane 1 when they were trying to go for that res race, and Graphics was just a little bit behind on that res there, and you know that once that revive comes out, the confirm comes out, that he's probably looking that way. So it was just really unfortunate. I think he was just trying to get like a nice repick, maybe just pop around that corner unexpectedly and take him out, but didn't quite come out on top, and then the rounds just started to fall apart, unfortunately. Once you start losing members, it gets really hard to really clear all the defensive options that they have available to them, especially in a map like Suburbia, where there's a nice array of spots that you can sit in.
Yeah, especially where Heclac was at. There's just like 3 or 4 spots in that little cluster that are really solid defensive positions that usually the people are the Volk members are usually going to put 1, maybe even 2 members over there. So you don't exactly have 1 or 2 spots to look at. You have to look at 3, 4, maybe 5. So it's definitely a rough attack down that lane.
And here we go, round 2. A lot of porch positions from WCO. They like those positions, and I can't blame them. They're really strong. Good audio cues, good defensive options, really put the offense on the back foot. And when they come around the corner, instead of just looking out, they have to look back, kind of like what Snooper was talking about there. Like a million spots you could possibly be. Looks like Cataclysm here is kind of forming a nice battle line down the center of the map here, and really aware that WCO might have pushed forward, get into these little ambush positions before maybe they fall back, but that's not going to happen today, as WCO has a pretty tight defense here, forming like a little half moon looking back on objective. Frag comes out in lane 4, Heclac throwing it and almost getting Ibar, but he wasn't quite in the right spot for him, as Heclac is really aware of how strong that position he had just last game.
Well, that is the danger of that zone. Even if you chuck a grenade in one of the good spots, usually it's not going to extend through because there's just so many different cover places to be, or cover. I can't talk right now. But Ibar is definitely keeping Heclac out of that lane, and hopefully Coco can respond because I don't think Heclac has a good view of anywhere where Ibar was.
Graphics making the rush of like this massive rush. He runs across lane 1. Ricky takes some shots at him, and he continues his run to the Humvee there. Probably scared that, you know, you can shoot through those fences there. They are penetrable. So he was like, I need to hard cover. And he gets taken out there. Script pushing up. And now that that position has been opened up, it's going to help. Ricky Tiki takes out lane 1. Visceral comes around, pokes, takes out Scrib there as he pushes forward. Ibar takes out Heclac lane 4. Coco is downed as well in lane 4. And it's all up to Ricky Tiki sticks when that's crazy, as there was just so many up just like a second ago.
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get the res on Coco, but he is in a good spot.
Definitely
to
not
get
going to get
Lord
that right
Visceral.
now.
Oh, yeah. But Identity Crisis and Lord Visceral sort of lose the advantage of being on the porches. They can't see through those hedges where Ricky is. So Ricky is in a good spot if he wants to attack those positions. Whether he knows they're there, I don't know.
Does he need to know he's there? He's got that big old M249 with the belt.
Well, it does help with those. I mean, we all know the the porch chairs are invincible and whatnot. There's a lot of stuff there that can block your shot, so you really want to be accurate. If Lord Visceral Identity Crisis gets the drop on Ricky, it's over.
I think Visceral knows he's there. Ricky had a mic pop, and he's moving really fast. Visceral coming out here. He's looking in between the posts there. Ricky pulls his gun up, but isn't able to come up in time. Visceral takes that shot and makes the round for WCO, bringing it back to a 1-1.
I mean, the way I like to attack those hedges is sort of, or those porches when coming around those hedges, is basically put some fire down on both those hedges, through the hedges. Don't go around it. Don't let them see you. But put a little fire down there, kind of draw them out so you know where they are, and reposition, and then re-attack. Pushing around those hedges, you're going to probably get hit every time. And that's the unfortunate thing with this map, is attacking those porches is very, very hard right now. And until any changes to the map actually happens, you really have to deal with both sides of the lane, and going around those hedges is just almost a kill me sign.
He definitely doesn't have the hindsight that we have, you know, looking above in our caster cam. We know where everyone is. They don't. But if he crossed over and got behind in their spawn area, going all the way through lane 1, coming up behind, he could have gotten really nice shots onto the porch there. So that would have been really interesting to see as well. But it's also really risky, as somebody could shoot you as you make that really long cross all the way into the back area through lane 1.
Yeah, it's definitely a rough push. That's for sure. But we're all tied up 1-1. WCO and Cataclysm showing great skill on this map. I mean, they're hitting each other back kill for kill, so that's definitely a plus when you're on the attack. You don't want to be trading your life for no kills. That's probably the one time where kills actually do matter. Just keeping people on the board. But we're seeing some good skill between both teams, and I'm loving it.
Me too. I'm loving it. Yeah, this is good. Yeah, you definitely see that a lot of these teams are very aware of how to play on Suburbia. They formed their own strategies as well, and the call-outs are, you know, fairly on the simple side. So it really lends, you know, all your practice time, instead of it going to like, hey, these are the positions, it's going to be like, hey, you're going to be in that position or this position, and you're going to have cover over this angle, and it's really, you know, clear cut. So you really see like this professional demeanor even from these newer teams, and it's really fun to see that what they're going to, you know, be doing in all the maps once they have just a little bit more game time.
And some of it is they just don't know any better, and then you see some crazy stuff that veteran teams wouldn't even attempt because, you know, they know why this is a bad idea. But hey, if it works, it works. The meta's always changing, so if you come up with a new play that happened to not work a season ago, it might be the new meta.
Yeah, and then you're like, hey, it's not so stupid anymore now, as you're dead in the floor or on the tent, and I'm out here. Yeah, I like seeing that. Ooh, Ricky Ticky sticks in the second story of the center building here. And if he pokes out, he's going to be in trouble, as two people are pretty aware of his possible position here. One laser is pretty much going over him right here, but unfortunately he's just a little too far back here. I'm going to just run right behind him and look. Yeah, he's just a little bit too tucked in there. But he is doing a good job of looking out that window without overly exposing himself, I'd say.
Yeah, if Coach Codith, I was about to say Lord Codith, but Coach Codith, if he just moved over to the APC, he would have actually seen WCO's rotation through the playground. And Rigo finds Ricky Ticky 6 with a headshot. And the first dent in the defense comes in.
Back pushing up the stairs here, trying to get in a position to cover that angle that just got opened up. Maybe being a little bit more defensive. Scrib takes out, or Codemeister takes out Scrib in lane 4. Really aggressive push around this corner. Now Code and Ibar are going to be able to push up here if they can take out Coach Codith, who is behind the APC here, in a great position for some kind of ambush or maybe a frag.
I'm surprised Codith didn't see Codemeister. Mr. Ree, Mr. 7.
Being too tactical right now. Coco takes out Rigo in lane 1. Now let's see if Identity Crisis can get this repick here. Looks like he couldn't see him there, so he's decided to move into a different area here. Meanwhile, Lord Visceral in the center house is slowly pushing up here, maybe trying to see if he can get a sneaky shot onto Heclac before Heclac is aware that he's there.
Yeah, Heclac's essentially alone. I mean, Codith can help, but he's in his own engagement. Oh, and he finds Code Mystery, and he's now free to help Heclac.
They weren't moving up, and then suddenly they're running out there. Coach Codith getting him in the back. Really great shot there. I don't think Ibar has ever stood up this whole round either.
Yeah, that was a solid push. That was a solid push down the stairs by Heclac, finding Lord Visceral, and then popping right back up the stairs. And that's really what you need to do to defend those stairs. You can't really wait for them to come up. Yeah, that works sometimes, but honestly, you want to be the one attacking them when they're not ready. And Coach Codith finds an Identity Crisis. And now it's down to a 3v1.
Looks like Abar's going to try and get that refrag into Coach. Oh, just got stuck on the bar, but gets the shot anyway. Coco with a nice refrag from behind on the porch, giving Cataclysm the win.
Solid defense there from Cataclysm, holding the center house, making sure that they were a little more proactive on defense, and that's really what you need to do. Heclac pushing down, taking down Lord Visceral. Coach Codith obviously moving from the APC to the box to burning back. I mean, that's what you need to be doing. You can't tunnel vision into your position and be like, this is what I'm defending the whole time. You're going to lose that way. You need to be flexible. You need to be moving. You need to be reacting. Refrags are primary ways to get kills, so that's good to see.
I think this map is an epitome of what you just said. Repositioning, figuring out that you're going to have to defend an angle you weren't necessarily planning on defending in the first place. Those kind of things are the thing that you see on Suburbia a lot. Is there's a lot of occlusion. There's a lot of fences. There's a lot of bushes there. And when you lose a friendly, you might lose an entire flank. It could be entirely undefended. If they push up lane 1, get behind the APC, they could get some great shots onto your defenders who, don't have any cover from the side. So being able to react quickly is something this map really, shows. The teams that can do it well really tend to come out on top.
And here we go, going into round 3.
Was there a cap? There wasn't a cap.
There's not a cap.
Okay, so there we go. What objective do we got today? Ooh, center burning. Yeah. This one is a toughie.
Yeah, it definitely forces teams. Middle house, second floor. Definitely forces teams to sort of attack from almost all sides to try and get up those stairs, because you almost need to clear the space around middle house before you can effectively move up those stairs and basically get the objective. We have seen some interesting caps before, but if there is someone in the opposite spawn house where Marsoc spawn or Volk spawned, you're usually in trouble. There's not enough ledge there to really get a cap in. You're going to have a party poking up unless you're virtually prone. So it's kind of a rough objective to just attack head on. You really need to clear around it. Make sure Identity Crisis and Rigo and Ibar aren't there so that they can attack Codemister and just get up there.
We might see some conflict between Ricky. Ricky takes out Rigo. Code comes around the corner, but Ricky just fires his gun. He's not even looking, and he takes him out. Nice reaction fire from Ricky there. Really key. Ibar takes out Heclac. Coach Coda takes out Visceral. Coco takes out Identity Crisis. Takes out Visceral. And Ricky team kills right at the end there. It was just so hectic. He had no idea what's going on.
It happens. It happens to us all. You get a little bit of the blood rage in you. And...
Oh, nice. Ibar runs in here, seeing he's the last one, takes him out, gets up on the objective, and what looked like it was going to be a Cataclysm game turned into a possible WCO game. Gets to get a little bloodlust there, running out, trying to take out Coach Codith, but gets taken out there.
Yeah, Cataclysm pulling ahead with 3 points. Solid push there, making sure to clear around the house. Didn't even get up to the objective. They just made sure that anyone that was trying to get back to help the objective didn't make it. And that's another important thing is if anyone's rotating back to the objective to help their friends and stop the initial push or the big push, you really need to be finding that person and killing them, or at least delaying them, and that'll actually help your team kill the rest of the enemy team, because numbers matter. If it's a 2v4 or a 2v3, we know who probably has a better chance of winning, and who can get the most refrags, who can get the most headshots and information from the battle, and that usually involves numbers.
Right. Yeah. So now WCO is gonna have to attack into this center objective here. They need to, they need to win this one. Otherwise, Cataclysm's going to take the round and take the series.
Well, the new objective actually is
have we done this one twice? Wow, I didn't even realize that. Whoops, my bad. Okay.
You're a little mixed up there, but it's fine. We have a new objective over by the white car in the south, over by the east, lane 4. And it's definitely an interesting objective, considering the defense is always going to spawn over on this side to be close to the objective. So Marsoc virtually knows exactly where Volk's going to be. Granted, of course, these are newer teams. Whether they've memorized that or not, that's another story. But you can usually rely on most of the defending team coming out of that right next to the objective, up lane 4, and maybe a few spanning out. But we know where they're starting.
Right. So this is a much easier objective to attack for WCO instead of the center house there, which should give them that opportunity. We might even see like a cap and tying this up to a 3-3. That's just how powerful caps can be. You can go from being behind to suddenly being up and ahead.
And the pre-fire comes out from Scrib, making sure anyone going down lane 4. Or is that 4 or 1? I keep getting my lanes mixed up.
Well, 4 has the bus.
Okay, so this is lane 1. My bad, guys. This is lane 1.
Ricky Ticky takes out Ibar. Lord Visceral trying to get the refrag through the bushes there. Nice pre-fire. Meanwhile, Rigo pushing up on lane 2 here. Nobody quite able to, take him out. Scrib. Oop, just kidding. Coco takes out Rigo as he pushes there. A little aggressive there. Codemeister doing his prone play here. Might bamboozle Scrib as he comes up and behind this little, sandbag right here in front. Shoot him from the side of it. Definitely could put me off. Meanwhile, Identity Crisis and Lord Visceral in the playground here. Just kind of slowing down here. Lost some friendlies there. Maybe trying to get a repick here. Ricky is looking in the same direction he was before. Codemeister takes out Scrib in lane 1.
Yeah, WCO. All tied up now with Cataclysm 3-3. And this has been a good back and forth so far. The objective is actually quite open. All that's left is Coco. And he's not in the greatest place to defend it, to be honest. Especially if Codemeister makes it all the way up.
The thing is, though, most of the WCO push is in the lane 3-4 area, and Heclac has got his notorious position here behind these concrete barriers, very low to the ground, ready to react to any kind of movement here, and it's going to be hard for this lane 4 push to really take him out. He does push out, trying to cover lane 3 as well, kind of exposing himself a little bit, but Lord Visceral and Identity Crisis weren't there. He's repositioning, maybe coming closer to objective, as, like we said, those rotations, once you start losing members, are very key, especially in a map like Suburbia.
And it all slows down now. Codemaster is trying to figure out where he needs to go to effectively attack Coco, because I'm pretty sure he knows he's there.
He's got a frag. Oh, he's on his feet. Run, Codemeister, no! That happens.
It does happen. I mean, this is VR. If you flub a grenade, if you flub a reload, it can get you killed. And that's real life. You know, you drop a grenade at your feet and run away, you're still probably going to get hurt. So I vote realism on that.
It happens, yeah, really, it happens to me all the time when I'm throwing the frags over my bushes at my neighbors, and it, you know, it gets caught in the bushes. It's just, it sucks.
That's America for you.
Exactly.
Well, WCO is forming up for a good push down lane 1, and Coco's the only one there to hold him off. I mean, Ricky Tiki 6 and Heclac can certainly rotate over, but it's a rough attack, especially where Ricky Tiki 6 is, because once Ricky fires, he has no cover.
Yeah, he's just kind of sitting there out in the open. He'll have to reposition quickly. Meanwhile, if we get an aggressive attack in the lane 1, they could just push forward and take out Ricky before he even knows what's happening.
Ooh, Coco's moving pushing up. That's an interesting decision there.
1 for 1, though.
Yeah, good trade. But still, it gave away some positions. They know where Heclac is. They probably saw Ricky. Lord Visceral definitely sees Ricky. Yeah,
Lord Visceral is in a key point for this, because if he can get around Ricky without being seen here, which doesn't look like it's going to be the case here, is Ricky is like, is that a body? And it is. It's a live one. But now it's dead.
I think Lord Visceral is expecting someone on the porches, and yes, that is a logical response, but you need to focus on Ricky. You need to focus on the person you see. And bravo, WCO taking another win and getting another point. Or Cataclysm getting another point. Sorry. So bravo, Cataclysm.
Yeah, good round there. Cataclysm. Yeah, it's been a day. I have no idea. Okay. So that round. What a spicy round. It was really lots of back and forth. You saw, WCO take the upper hand. You saw Cataclysm take the upper hand, and then suddenly WCO, unfortunately, was taken out right there at the end, giving Cataclysm that last point there. Hard fought, last point, I should say. And Cataclysm takes the series.
Yep, they do. I honestly think, though, it comes down to target priority. They knew where Ricky Tiki 6 was, but he was definitely a lot more worried about people on porches. And that all comes down to having a good kill count. I know it gets a little muddled once people start dying and trading, but really you need to start identifying bodies on the ground, calling out to your team. And that's one thing I'm not really seeing a lot of or hearing a lot of. It's just information being passed along. Maybe they're doing it when we can't hear them, but honestly, how many call-outs have you really heard? How much kill counts have you heard come out? Like, I haven't heard many.
I haven't heard that many either. Communication is super key in this game. Just behind teamwork, and I'd say is more important, but really they're super linked. Like, you need both, and you need to be doing them well. You need that meshing between your team, and it's not just your ability to, be a crack shot. You need to work together. And, oftentimes communication is going to be way more powerful than, for example, keeping your position hidden. If you're in a nice little position there, letting your team know where the attack is coming from allows your team to, help out. And you have these supporting lines of fire where instead of you going in a 1v1 situation, you instead have like a 3v1. And, no one can really do a 3v1 and come out unscathed most of the time there. So that teamwork is super key.
It's definitely a risk to try and do that. No one's John Wick.
So this next map here, map 3, MMR still on the line here for both of these teams, so it's important that they play to the best of their ability. Is going to be Quarantine.
Yeah, and definitely an interesting spawn. Sort of a quick spawn for this one. WCO already hitting the roof. Scrubs up there. Coco's falling behind with the rest of the team trying to hit the north alley. And of course, one player all the way over by a motel. Definitely an interesting offensive spread, but for this map, that is kind of acceptable. You really want to spread out, hit them from sides they're not expecting, and even maybe get behind them if you can. And they definitely have an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, Scrib in a, on the north roof here, but sticking far back. He's using these AC units to really give him cover with his big old sniper rifle bolt action with silencer. What do you think of that?
And I mean, this is the map for it if you're going to bring it. Certainly the other ones shouldn't have a sniper on it.
Oh, he knows where Lord Visceral is, I think. Can't tell if he's in the oh, he can see into the stairway there. Lord Visceral keeping his head down just in time. Scrib, everyone is looking at Scrib here. Rigo has made it to like the second or third level of the impact building, and now Scrib is entirely surrounded, getting shot up from the roof and hospital at the same time, and Lord Visceral could pop up and help. So now he has to go prone, and he can't even suppress because he's got that bolty. It's all about precision with this weapon. So he's going to have to reposition.
And that's why I am a big fan of the LMGs, because to a certain extent, you can snipe with them. The first shot is going to go straight. So if you have a 2x or a 4x, you can do some good work on this map. There's no extreme ranges that really need that extra scope range. So, yeah, it's kind of a... I mean, I don't support having a bolty or a semi-auto on this map, really, but it is acceptable.
Graphics takes extra Codith in the far west here. He's got this kind of like side wing spot where he's looking back towards the west and has cover from the rest of the map. So good for him. Rigo takes out Coco with his SKS from that, covered position. All he really has to worry about, in my opinion, from in this impact building, is people in the first story of hospital. And they did have a friendly near there earlier. I wonder where he went.
I don't know, but Ricky Tiki 6 has essentially gotten all the way behind Cataclysm. And yeah, they've lost 2 players, but this is one of the maps where, I mean, it's so big, it's so wide open, there's so many places that you can hide that almost going alone is a good idea. And there's Scripps finding Rigo and no one to get the refrag. So on defense, I'd say kind of cluster together a little bit, make sure that if someone does go down, you can get the refrag. But on attack, spreading out is almost as good as stacking up. Just attacking from a lot of different positions. And it can almost confuse the defense. They don't exactly know where you're going to be coming from, especially if you're attacking from all angles, which is what we're seeing here. WCO is going to be able to attack from the south, from the west, from the north, and that's definitely going to provide a little bit of a question mark in their head. Where are they coming from?
So they actually know where Heclac is. I'm pretty sure I heard Lord Visceral do a nice call out to his team, letting him know that Heclac is near the impact building. He has now made it inside the crash building itself here, and Codemeister is going to have to be on his toes here because he's going to have to defend from Heclac and worry about anyone else coming around the flank at the same time there.
Well, Ricky Tiki 6 is right on the objective. And this is the danger of being that far off the objective. If Ricky's quick here, he can get the cap in, but it doesn't look like he's trying for it.
Yo, he is. He's got the cap off Ibar.
Oh, I didn't even see his tablet out. I was looking through the building. Solid cap there from Ricky Tiki 6. I mean, that's beautiful. What you need to do. Yeah, beautiful cap. WCO bringing it back. Bravo, sir. And that is the danger of being that spread out on defense. You really kind of want to be tight. You want to be within, I don't know, 5-10 meters of the objective once you're down to 2 or 3 people. If you got, say, 3 people up and 2 of them are very far off the objective, it's essentially a 1v whatever on the objective, and that's something you never want to do. If you lose the objective even for, 10-15 seconds there, you're done. Cap goes out. Doesn't matter if you get there on time.
Yeah, so we've kind of talked about the whole condensing once you lose teammates, but when the timer starts running down as well, you should also be, slowly constricting around the objective, because once it gets down to like that last minute there, as long as everyone isn't sticking their heads out needlessly, you're really only going to lose to a cap. So if you have everyone ready to react and support each other, it works really well. And in the same vein, just making sure that you're not sticking your head out more than you need to defend the objective is really key, because then that forces Marsoc, with that lack of time, to really push out into objective very aggressively, not check their corners, and gives you those easy free kills just shooting them in the back.
Yeah, that is that is an important thing. And here we go into round 2. Well, maybe a false start there. Oh no, here we go.
Here we go. Let's see if WCO can run away with this map here. Having that 2-point lead right off round 1 must feel really good for him.
Yeah, it's definitely a good feeling to get a cap off at the beginning. Series is over, but I mean, that doesn't stop you from playing seriously. This is some of the best Onward you'll get outside of serious comp lobbies, so you might as well enjoy it.
Yeah, this is where the fun is in Onward. You know, comps, pubs, they're fun. But after a while, this is where I really found the enjoyment of the game after I've had a lot of hours. And I think it's something that it should be enjoyed and treasured. You know, don't ever give up. There's MMR on the line. And more importantly, really, it's not really about winning or losing. It's about having that teamwork experience that, you know, you're not really going to get in a pub. You're not, you know, yeah.
You're not going to encounter, you know, small children that don't know how to play. Like, this is serious play, and definitely something you can enjoy.
Ibar pushing up on the south here. He's going to come in contact with Scrib and Ricky Ticky 6. It's going to be a really tough peek for him with 2 players looking in his direction, but he might get a pick on the Scrib here because Scrib is not ready for this.
No, he didn't get the first shot off.
Yeah, Scrib just backs up really slowly while Crash. He's like, nah, I'm not standing up, man. I live or I die. Whatever, man.
Yeah, well, that is the danger of the ruse. There's not a lot of cover. There's not a lot of places you can hide. So you really want to get that first shot off and make sure it's accurate. And once you start getting shot at, you could just get one-tapped. Like I said, there's no cover. There's no real places to retreat to. Even with your backup, you're pretty vulnerable. So it was very smart of Scribs to just slowly back up and be as low as he can and not engage.
Did you see that frag? Scrib unfortunately moved a little bit away onto the other side of the fence, but the grenade was perfect if he was in his old position. Ooh, nice shot from Scribs. Shooting from the roof down onto Ibar, taking him out in his, you know, moved position. If you take fire from one position, reposition to a different one. Keep them guessing, and that's exactly what Scrib did there, working perfectly for him in this case.
Well, Ibar tried to do the same thing. He attacked from the south and rotated back around the building to attack, but I mean, one movement's a little more telegraphed than the other. If Ibar moved back, he's only going one other place, which is either around the building or all the way rotating back. So Scribs was definitely at an advantage, not just because he has the high ground. So interesting movement there. Scribs dodging fire again.
Ricky taking out Rigo in the center tank courtyard area. That's the danger of this position. You really have to worry about the hospital roof. Meanwhile, Codemeister takes out Coach Codith, or downs him at the very least in the impact building. And now the people on objective, Heclac and Coco, are going to have to worry about these overpowering positions from the impact building. Ricky takes out Rigo, or finishes him off rather, in the tank courtyard. This is anyone's game still.
Oh, yeah. This is definitely anyone's game. Cataclysm may only have 3 members, but there's no way that Rez is coming out. Coco and Heclac, they have no business getting off that objective and going to get Coach Codith. But Coach Codith can give out some good information. I think Lord Visceral's going for the confirm, but until then, good info is going to come out.
Right, and, you know, the rest of the Cataclysm team here is still in and behind Maul. Kind of looks like they're going to go up through tank courtyard area, and without taking out Scribd, it's going to be really difficult. So I think Lord Visceral is going to play a key part in this attack, providing support for graphics and Codemeister, because if he can get that, it can work really well. Meanwhile, graphics takes out Heclac in the rubble area next to objective, and Coco is not going to be able to get that res as graphics gets a nice confirm on him as he was just a little bit out in the open there. Coco is going to have to stay really tucked in here, because if he dies, Lord Visceral threatens a really, really easy cap there.
Yes, he does. But Graphics and Codemeister are basically coming into a kill box right now. Scrib's aimed that way. Ricky's aimed that way. Coco's guarding the rear, but that doesn't stop this from being a pretty heavily covered zone. Oh,
nice.
Oh, man. Graphics
Brutal.
finds... Yeah, and Ricky Ticky 6 gets a final kill there, and we're down to a 2v2. Lord Visceral coming up behind. Graphics has to deal with Ricky Ticky 6. And Lord Visceral, I think, is going to be in for a 1v1 because Ricky's not looking that way. Oh, an objective is now open.
Boom. Nice shot from Visceral. He's going to run right onto objective area here. He's getting into like this stairway area. He's got his tablet out. He's getting a little bit closer. He's on objective. What's Ricky going to do here? He's too far from objective at this point. Visceral has the cap, coming out right now. And there we go.
There it is.
The cap happens. And now we've tied this up 2-2. Cap on the same objective there.
Yeah, cap right on back. I mean, that's the way you bring it. Show them that, yeah, we can cap too. You need to get back on objective. And I mean, it does pain me to see that last guy sort of stay in his position. As I said before, you really do not want to do that. You want to be running across the street as fast as you can. Yeah, maybe a suicide mission, but you're going to die and prevent the cap. And you would still be up right now. So that's sort of the importance of just knowing how many people are left up, who's on objective, whether you need to get back there or not. And that's just awareness at this point. You need to be checking your tablet. You need to be talking to your team. If all of a sudden everything goes quiet and there's no more gunfire, check your tablet. See who won that fight. So that's something we definitely need to see from, I'd say, both teams at this point. Cataclysm's a little better at it, but they also had moments where they had a guy out of position. So both teams definitely have stuff to work on in their practice sessions.
Kind of interesting too, because there's these certain things that you'll never see in a comp lobby even that you might want to use in a match like this. So things like the ability when you're the last defender, you can self-cap from anywhere on the map. And when you do that, you're able to give them the 1 point guaranteed, but they don't get the 2 points. And even when you're out of position, that's something you guys should practice, I'd say. It's something even, to be honest, my dirty little secret is I didn't really know that you could do the self-cap from anywhere on the map until recently. And I've played this game quite a bit.
I mean, I guess do it if you have to. I just don't see shutting down the cap as an honorable thing to do. But this isn't about honor.
You can perform seppuku after.
Yeah. It's all about those sweet points, boys. Your reputation can be in tatters as long as you win.
Yeah, I would only do it if I was last man up and really far off the cap. But that said, as the meme goes, mono caps are a little on the slow side, and I couldn't beat somebody that does it faster. So definitely need a lot of awareness to use that sort of tactic.
Who wants to remember 7 digits? I mean, come on.
I really don't. I really don't.
It's a lot of work, guys.
Hey, man, I forget to, put the overlay down. You think I can remember like 7 different numbers?
Yeah, I mean,
in a row?
What's my bank pin? God.
Who needs
Anyways.
that?
Definitely an interesting defense with Ibar prone on the hill. He is in a good spot where his body's sort of downhill, but, I mean, he's not covered by anything, and that's a bit of a concern.
If he gets 1 pick there, repositions, it'll be golden. That's what I'm hoping for.
And if Ricky moves out, that'll be his pick. And that's really all he needs to do. And a running retreat every time you get a kill is not a bad thing. Holding your position sometimes is the worst thing you can do, especially if you've revealed your position, because the next person that's coming, guess where they're aiming? Right where they heard that gunfire. So getting out of there, repositioning, retreating, not a bad thing, especially if you're getting closer to your objective.
Those players that can perform that skirmish style of gameplay, that's what I like to call it, can really be a terror to your team, just like a sniper can, because you could be pushed up a little bit, you take somebody out, or even if you just fire at somebody and then move to a different area, they now have to spend like a minute clearing your position, and then when they're, you know, on your old position, boom, they're getting shot at again, and they're like, where is this guy? Why is he everywhere? Is he a phantom? And it's
Yep.
really powerful.
There he
Bar,
is.
yeah, there we go. That pick all the way across there in the South Hospital building takes him out. Coco is taken out as well by Lord Visceral, all the way in the north here. And now Coach Kodith is going to have to somehow root out graphics in this motel building. A really, really hard position.
Ibar is certainly holding the south, calling out that it's clear, and then repositioning, and that's what I like to see. Making sure, like, even that position you're holding, it may not be useful anymore. And so retreating back to the objective, especially at, what, 2 minutes left in the round, that's not a bad thing. Coming back, just castling up for those last 2 minutes, making it even harder for WCO to get there, that's a good thing to do. The more people on the objective, the more bodies they have to go through to cap. That slows them down. They could lose to time, even on the objective. Oh, and Rigo finds Scrib.
Okay, get this. So Scrib, I jumped onto him a little late there, but I didn't hear his shot. So I think that he forgot to reload his bolt. And I think he had an angle on Rigo, and so he had to reload the bolt and Rigo reposition. And then he was trying to find Rigo in the second story still of the objective building, and Rigo went down below and saw him and took him out with his SKS. So really unfortunate when you have those weapon fumbles there. Happens to everybody. Definitely done it myself. Come around the corner, click, click, click. Sucks.
Yeah, that is another disadvantage of the semi-autos and bolties, is they are a little more, well, not even a little more, they're very micro intensive. You got a lot of little parts you have to move. The bolts, you got to make sure you're racking the bolt forward and back. Sometimes you just don't go all the way and you don't get that next shot in. So you don't actually know if you have a round in the chamber. And that's, honestly, do you want to risk it? I mean, if you're that good with it, sure. But I would just take an auto and do sniping that with that. AKs are good. The G3 is a wonder. Even the LMG G3. Put a 2 or 4X on it. You can snipe just fine. And you got a ton of ammo.
Coach trying to run around this corner here to get a shot, but Graphic shoots him in the back from the motel there as he was fighting Visceral. That's where we got that teamwork that I was talking about earlier. And the rest, Heclac trying to push in at the same time there. Good teamwork there, but actually they came out ahead. I got the teams mixed up, I think. Help me unravel this, Snooper.
Well, there was definitely a cap on each side, and I think WCO just won. So WCO should be at 3, and Cataclysm's at 2, if I'm not mistaken. Because Heclac died, and Heclac's on Cataclysm. The context clues.
And he's on the context clues. I think the names, yeah, the names are switched.
Oh yeah, my bad. That is my bad. Okay.
We're like, what's going on?
Sorry about that, guys.
All right, let me fix it on my side too.
The dangers of new teams. I mean, you don't exactly know which is which exactly every time, and sometimes we label them wrong. And it's also Sunday in the afternoon, so we're both a bit on the tired side. I'm sleepy.
Yeah, we've done quite a few casts this week here, so please forgive us.
Cast and a month's work and all that. So yeah, definitely a bit of a bit of a mind bender right now. But sorry about that. WCO pulling ahead with 3 points. Good showing on quarantine.
And this is actually Cataclysm's pick, I believe, unless they did the Volk advantage thing.
We'll see how it goes. But WCO is definitely in a good spot to attack this objective. They got a lot of maneuver room. They're not going to be able to be seen crossing any of the streets. Maybe the South Street, but that's a really far range. And I don't see anyone that could see it. Yeah, I don't see pre-fire. I don't see anyone looking. Just people maneuvering to their position. One Cataclysm member going to the south, along with 2 WCO members.
Making that South cross can be really nail-biting. You know,
Yeah,
if they get that close spawn and they're looking for you, you can easily get taken out right off the start of the match, and then you're sitting in the tent, you know, sucking your own thumb, wishing you were alive.
Well, that is the danger of these big lanes.
Yeah, that's the risk you take if you're going to get in that position. But once you make it across the street, you can make a huge impact. You can see Kodith taking that south tower there. Really strong third story view, and he might get some picks from there, be able to reposition to the second story, all sorts of things. Meanwhile, all the way in the far north, the brunt of this WCO attack is beginning to get into position. Rigo and the north roof trying to get some cover fire, while the rest of the team rotates all the way around on the far east, and they're going to be able to get there. No one's seen them, I'm pretty sure.
No, they haven't been seen, but oh wow, that is quite an angle Iber has on the hospital. I mean, I think he can see into the south part of that. Well, it was formerly scaffolding building, but it's definitely a bit different now, especially with those bulletproof windows.
Graphics takes out Ricky in the motel. Ricky is going to be able to give good info, but while losing your motel player when the main push is coming from the east is going to be really tough, as now Coco and Heclac are going to have to expose themselves a little bit to defend it. And like you've talked about before, there's not very much cover in those buildings.
No, not at all.
Ooh, nice frag by Graphics to get the confirm onto Ricky. Boom.
There you go.
Graphics.
But yeah, losing the motel is definitely a big loss there. The motel is essentially a fortress with a lot of rooms, a lot of doors, a lot of places people can be, and just getting taken out that quickly is definitely a lost asset to the defensive team.
Ooh, Graphics takes out Coco. Coach Kodith gets a confirm shot back right onto Graphics, while Rego downs Coach Kodith. As it happened, it was like a trifecta of gunfire right there.
And it looks like the res is going to come out.
What do you do for Heclac?
Well, Heclac is a island in the storm, as it were. But
definitely come back, yeah.
Definitely a great communication going on WCO's part right now.
Scribbs valiantly trying to help defend Heclac from the mall, shooting his big old PKM at the enemy, but Rigo, nice clean shots onto him right, as he was crossing the north road down and towards mall, and Heclac feeling a little surrounded right now.
It's a 5v1 and WCO is all around Heclac.
Just look at him as he spins around doing 360s over and over again. Being on a quest would be an advantage here because you want to get your cords all wrapped up. Graphics takes out Heclac as he's making these spins around, and WCO takes the round and the map.
Solid win there from WCO, and we apologize for mixing up the names there, but I think we got them right at the end because WCO just pulling ahead there. Like that was a level of strategy we haven't seen the last two maps.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot of interesting and fun gameplay going on here in quarantine. It's, I think, always a joy to watch as there's so many different paths and opportunities you can take. We saw some really interesting, pushed off positions used really well. Like, for example, the Ibar's position on the hill there prone. And it really worked dividends for them as they were able to get those really nice picks, move back, get the communication flowing. And it was just really fun to watch.
Yeah, definitely a good game. That's why I like to watch the new teams. You don't exactly see the same metas going on, and it's definitely not one team dominating the other. While Cataclysm did pull ahead and win the series, WCO, I mean, they put up a good fight. I love seeing that.
Yeah, they didn't give up. That's really important. They kept their morale strong. They, brought it back to Cataclysm. They said, like, hey, you might have won the series, but it was, a lot closer than you think. We definitely could have taken this one. And I think we're going to see more from WCO in the future and Cataclysm as well, going forward in the league. It's really nice having all these new teams, new strategies, as you've said, and all this effort they're putting into, getting, up and, up there and really putting their name on the board.
Yep,
and
I think...
Oh, go ahead.
Well, I mean, I just like to see new teams come in and play super serious like that. I mean, that's what I love to see, so...
Definitely good. So this has been Cataclysm versus WCO, brought to you by Monorchid and my co-caster Snooper. We would like to thank the VR Master League for providing this format, to our moderators, our sponsors, especially you guys. Thanks for coming along. We also have a match today at 9 EDT. It's Mayhem versus Dark Matter. Pretty good teams, pretty good teams. Definitely come and watch that if you're interested. Thanks for coming along, guys, and have a good night.